Alright, we're back with some more hot takes because I have a baby, no time, and you guys did all the hard work for me of telling me the hot takes, and then I just go and give you my 100% correct opinion about each one, and you have to agree with it, and there's nothing else you can do. What I miss is the feeling that my character is part of a town rather than an overlord of the town. Not having complete control over everything gave a sense of being a part of something bigger. The lack of charm is one of the big reasons veterans of the series are most upset with New Horizons. The most recent installment is very different from the rest of the games. I talked about this in my last video a little bit about how New Horizons is a strong departure from the series that we're used to, and is most likely a turning point for how the future games will handle mechanics. While I do enjoy the powers we were gifted in New Horizons, I do agree that I don't feel like part of a town. I feel like I completely control everything about this island. This game feels like a simulation, but not a life simulation. We have a final say in too much, but at the same time, if they took any of that away from us in the next game, I would be upset, and it would feel like a downgrade. I'm torn. I completely understand this person's take, but I would hate if Axel moved into my town without any say from me. I love villager hunting too much. Gambling gets me every time. So there are some things that I like about New Horizons that I like having the power of, but then other things that I'm like, I really miss the original way that Animal Crossing did things. Before we get into more hot takes, I want to heat up dinner with today's sponsor, HelloFresh. I would be completely lost without HelloFresh meal planning for me, and with over 30 rotating recipes to choose from each week, I'm never bored. As much as I love eating ramen, I do need to change it up and eat something a little more geared towards my New Year's goals. HelloFresh helps with their calorie smart and protein smart recipes, packed with fresh ingredients. And the fact that everything arrives right to my door so I don't have to leave, it's a big part of my introverted lifestyle. And HelloFresh can match your lifestyle. With fit and wholesome, family-friendly, quick and easy, and vegetarian meals, there's something for everyone. HelloFresh allows me to customize my deliveries each week too. Sometimes I'm not home, or maybe I just don't have time to cook while I'm all alone with a brand new baby. Instead, I can adjust my delivery date for a day when Drew comes back home, or skip a week. Everything can be tailored to my schedule. And now, they want to give you free breakfast. Click the link in the description or use my code to get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside of the US, the local discount will apply. Now that we're full of hot food, let's get back to more hot takes. Tom Nook isn't a villain, or even that bad of a guy. He's running a business plus a loan you can pay back whenever you want with no interest. Okay, but counterpoint. Why is he listed in the top 100 video game villains of all time then, As an adult, Tom Nook seems like a stand-up guy. We are screwed over so much in real life that a rich businessman who gives us a loan without interest is all of a sudden a hero. My baby is sneezing. Eat the rich, unless it's a tanuki, right? Also, he was kind of rude back in the day. You would move to a new town, given the smallest house in the world, which is like basically a closet for a crazy amount of money, and then when you finally pay it off, you wake up to an even bigger house and you're required to pay said rich man more money. You can't return or get a refund for any of the items in his store. If you buy it, you buy it. He'll buy it back for way less money though. So if you want to get some of your money back, you can, I guess. IGN had a good description of him being the GameStop of the Animal Crossing world, and I just laughed to myself about how accurate that is. Also, they talk about how he utilizes child labor, assuming that these two are indeed children and not just Korra-sized tanukis. They work all day, every day. Do child labor laws not exist here? He will always be a villain in my eyes. Islands don't have to follow an aesthetic to look good. Make your island yours. I agree. Yet I don't follow this at all. I used to be, and still kind of am, what I would call bad at decorating. And I never thought that until I saw all the amazingly aesthetically decorated islands on Twitter from literal professional interior designers. And while I appreciate seeing all of their beautiful designs, builds, professional aestheticness, it has definitely killed my will to decorate. I'll never be able to live up to the standards of the tweets that I like on Twitter, which have in turn become my standard. So why bother? And this is where the issue is. I got completely discouraged by these builds, and I'm sure I'm not alone. This is a me problem. I'm not blaming anyone who shares theirs or others' builds on social media. I really enjoy seeing them, but God, my self-esteem has plummeted. I agree with Squid Told Me here. As long as you're having fun and enjoying the game, it doesn't matter what your island looks like. If you like a multicolored dysfunctional way you decorate, all the more power to you. It doesn't have to follow the rule book of cottagecore, kidcore, whatever core to be enjoyable to look at. While decorating isn't for everyone, obviously, some people enjoy the more sim part of Animal Crossing rather than the interior design part. I think you're all being way too hard on yourselves. I'm convinced that this has led to the I hate decorating, therefore I hate New Horizons opinions out there. But again, totally valid if decorating just isn't your cup of tea. I've definitely grown into the mechanic that has become a significant part of the game, and I found that I rather do enjoy it. I really miss the old way the bug-off/fishing tourney worked. The new version just makes it feel like pulling teeth because you have to do the same 3-minute minigame over and over. Yes, 100% yes. I'm pretty sure this isn't a hot take, but I'm including it anyway because it needs to be said. The new way of doing these tourneys is awful. I had a lot of fun the first time, and then nothing new happened. It was the same prizes, the same minigame, the same thing over and over again. It was worth it for the bells, I guess, but there are better, quicker ways to make bells in New Horizons that don't involve fishing or running around catching bugs for 3 minutes straight. Even if we just got new rewards each season, I would have had a reason to keep playing. These quickly became the most useless events. Hopefully Nintendo realizes this and changes it in the future. Give us some variety, please. Not all quality of life changes from game to game are good. There is a sense of charm that is lost, such as combining the airport and post office or having all the special vendors in one place. I'm torn with this, honestly. If you asked me when New Horizons released, I would have agreed with this post wholeheartedly. Now that I'm used to the quality of life updates that New Horizons has given us, I don't think I could go back. Sure, I'm gutted that we don't have Pelly, Phyllis, and Pete anymore. They're icons that are sorely missed. However, it is nice to be able to complete multiple tasks in one place. The number of times I was heading over to a mystery island and made a quick stop to mail something off, it was so nice to not have to run to a separate part of my island to go talk to Pelly, hand her my letters one by one. And as much as I miss happening upon random special characters like the original Animal Crossing, Har's Island is so useful, especially with the ridiculous load times in New Horizons. The less island hopping I have to do, the better. And if I need art, Red is just there, all day, every day. I don't have to wait for him to show up once every 9 days or whatever it is. He's there when I need him. Having the one-stop shop for everything is such a convenience. It's kind of New Horizons' version of Main Street or the city, and I like it. Going back to the way things used to be, while such a nostalgia trip, and why I want to agree with this post, is actually awful. Maybe I'm the one who has the hot take here. Past me would definitely disagree with now me, but times have changed. People massively overrated the games in comparison to New Horizons. New Leaf was great, but it had massive limitations compared to New Horizons. I feel like most of these hot takes are just crapping on New Leaf, and I keep including them because I love crapping on New Leaf. Nostalgia definitely plays a huge part in how players view these past games. New Horizons is objectively better. I know this is an opinion, but no, it's really not. If the next game reverted back to older mechanics, people would riot, or at least I would riot. Would you like to make your YouTube premiere, baby? You want to say anything? There you go. But that doesn't mean New Leaf did everything wrong. Is there a charm that's missing now? Absolutely. But Nintendo changed the mechanics that they did for a reason. Whether it was to fit the story of New Horizons or because the new way is just better. This is Nintendo. They sit and do think about everything for a while. They're on top for first-party games for a reason. All of these complaints about villagers visiting you, stores closing, and having to wait for things is silly. Animal Crossing isn't meant to be a decorating simulator. It's a life simulator. Quality of life changes are good to an extent, but if you give the players too much freedom, then it takes all the fun out of the game. I do agree with this take, but I kind of also agree with the comments that this poster dislikes. Being in the middle of decorating my house and having a villager interrupt me without my consent is one of the most annoying additions to New Horizons. I don't know who asked for it, I don't know why Nintendo decided to add this specific thing in, but I hate it. At least in New Leaf, we had the option to pick the time for the villager to come over. I despise that when I'm finally taking the time to decorate my home, my neighbor interrupts what I'm doing. Not only does the cutscene happen, but then I have to take the time to pretend to leave my house, and then come back in, and then I can start decorating again. Maybe I would enjoy the villagers coming over if they had more to do, more activities instead of them just walking around and waiting for you to talk to them. Have the animal do something, entertain us. Though I guess they are the guest and we should be entertaining them instead. But I just spend the time continuing to talk to them, hoping that a present or a game dialogue option pops up. But that takes too long, so I end up just kicking them out. Now, I just always have cockroaches around, so if they do show up, well, they'll just immediately leave and allow me to go back to whatever I'm doing. Okay, that was just one part of this hot take. Animal Crossing isn't meant to be a decorating simulator. Yes and no. Maybe past games weren't supposed to be this, but New Horizons clearly is. With the additions of decorating outside and terraforming, it feels like this one small mechanic that used to take up maybe 10% of our playtime now dominates the game. Most people feel like New Horizons has slowly stopped being a life sim and has become a deco sim, and to an extent, I agree. Each new game in the series always comes with a handful of quality of life improvements to make playing the game a little less annoying for us. However, there are still some mechanics that the community as a whole hates. Things like no multi-crafting and not being able to craft from storage, or there are too many to list here. But this person is right. Too many quality of life updates, and this tedious life sim becomes way less tedious and way less life simmy. As a result, we spend less time doing other tasks because they can be completed more quickly. So what do we do instead? We decorate. Even that got some updates with God mode decorating mechanic that was introduced with Happy Home Designer. I know it can be obnoxious to craft those fish bait one at a time, but in real life, we'd only be able to open one clam at a time. So if anything, this task is more true to life. This is the one life sim thing left and people hate it. I don't think New Horizons is really taking too much away from New Leaf. The things that have changed are those quality of life improvements. Well, besides like the mini games and like villager interactions, which New Horizons could definitely utilize both. But the main idea of New Leaf is still prevalent now. You can still go fishing. You can still go buy stuff at Nooks. It's not that the latest installment was completely stripped of New Leaf mechanics, but more that the tasks were made easier, which led players to the one thing that can always be done, especially with a wide open new area that we were given: decorating. Alright, I kind of got away from what this person was initially talking about to rant and give my own hot take, I guess, but I think we covered it well enough. I do agree with this hot take. But in a world where we've had 4 games that all we've really been able to do is fish and catch bugs and fill up a museum, it is kind of nice to have that additional mechanic that gives us something extra to do. And yet again, there are so many more hot takes that I wanted to include, but that'll be for another video. I can only make these scripts so long so I can edit them in a timely manner before a child starts crying and takes up hours of my day. Apologies again for the horrible upload schedule. We'll get there soon. But for now, what other hot takes do you have? Agree with any of these? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!